What's up, Popco Nation? My name is Randy Villegas. I'm from Bakersfield, California, and I just finished my age out season with the Bakersfield College indoor drumline. We're a percussion independent open group, and so I'm really happy to be a part of this project. And so I'm just going to hop straight into some questions here. Um, so the first question here is, what instrument do you play, and what made you want to play that instrument? I primarily play the snare drum. I was a center snare for my last 2 seasons here at the Bakersfield College drumline. What motivated me to play snare was actually coming into auditions for high school. A good friend of mine named Fernando, um, who wasn't my friend at the time, basically told me I kind of sucked and I should not focus on stick tricks and I would never make snare drum. Um, and though I was like really mad at the time, it really motivated me to kind of like shut him up and say, well, I'm gonna make snare someday, and you're gonna eat those words. Um, and I did, and eventually, ended up becoming drum captain of my high school, and going on to play snare drum with the Santa Clara Vanguard Cadets in 2013, and playing snare drum for the Bakersfield College drumline. Definitely the experience of a lifetime. So I think that's what kind of motivated me to play snare. Fun fact: I've marched every percussion instrument except for cymbals, and I guess it's not like I never marched flub drums or some of the newer crazy things that I've seen in some drum lines. Um, but I thankfully have been able to play bass, quads, and snares, so it's been fun stuff. What made me want to march indoor this year? Um, well, this was my age out season, so I definitely wanted to march and be a part of the experience one last time, and walk off the floor feeling aged out, so to speak. But I think more than that, I've been with the Bakersfield College for about 6 years now. I started while I was in high school, actually. So I know some of you guys are trying to do the math on that. So I started when I was in high school, and I've seen this group really grow and develop throughout the years. I mean, from not even going to Dayton, my first year that I did it, to the following year, the first time we went to Dayton, missing finals by less than a tenth of a point, if I remember correctly, to now making finals like 3 times with the Bakersfield College drumline has really been, a really cool experience, and I'm really happy to have been with the program along, seeing it grow. And so that was one of my primary seasons. I thought about auditioning for other groups and other places, but I definitely feel like this is my hometown, and I want to represent and make it keep going places. And I hope to see it continue to grow in the future. Um, let's see, what's the next question? Well, I guess that was kind of um, the third question as well. Made me want to march Bakersfield College, right? Because I've been with that group for a while, and I've seen it grow, and I want to see it continue to develop. And rather than go somewhere else, I want to help this program grow, and hopefully contribute it to the growth of this program. Um, Funniest experience I remember. Oh my gosh, this is a tough one. Just because there's so many memories. Definitely, I think this year. Let me take a second to think about this one real quick. Okay, so after debating some of the maybe not so appropriate, funniest moments I've experienced with drumline, I'm just gonna talk about one of the funniest things this last season was we're from California, obviously in Bakersfield, California, in Central Valley, so we have a lot of Spanish speakers in our drumline, and so we would joke about what would it be like if we want to go teach indoor percussion in Mexico or Spain, or some Spanish speaking culture, and so we would translate all of the drum rudiments into like Spanish, and it was just the funniest thing ever. And we even like called ourselves Tamborazo Bakersfield instead of like an accent. Um, and for those of you guys that don't speak Spanish, tamborazo is like basically just like a bass drum and a hi hat cymbal that you see at like quinceañeras with like bandas and stuff. And so definitely messing around with the tamborazo Bakersfield, talking about playing some queso cincos and some reportes del libro, and we were, it was just good times, just being dumb, and then greeting each other at like competitions in Ohio when people were looking at us like, what the heck does that mean? So that was definitely a really fun experience, and it cut off with not only the members but even some of the staff too. So it was really really funny stuff. What was my favorite memory? I definitely have to say my favorite memory would have to be um, just hanging out with all the snares at my place. We had quite a few out of town folks in the snare line this year, and so we would usually go to my place because we had an extra room and we all crashed, and so we just stay up late patting it up or making fun of each other, cracking jokes. playing video games, and definitely the van rides to competition and the van rides home were pretty funny. And so I think my favorite memory would have to be hanging out with my good group of friends in the snare line. Aside from that, I know it says one, but I definitely think another one of my favorite memories that I'll never forget is just this past season, um, standing on the floor during finals retreat and receiving the Lynn Nordstrom scholarship. So I'm very grateful to WGI. This is the third scholarship that I've won. I won a scholarship in 2014, 2016, and most recently in 2017. And this scholarship truly meant a lot because it was a Lynn Lindstrom Memorial Scholarship. And for those of you guys who don't know, Lynn Lindstrom was one of the founding members of WGI in this activity way back in the day. And she really put a lot of work and heart and soul into making this activity grow and eventually, bringing percussion and winds into the mix. And so, unfortunately, Lynn lost the battle to cancer last year. Um, and there was this memorial scholarship named after her. And I actually got to shake her husband's hand at the award ceremony during retreat, and it just really meant a lot to me. And I hope I can carry her name, with the highest of honor and continue to give back in the same way she did to this activity in this organization. Tell us about relationships you built during this season. So yeah, definitely. I think just the friendships were really great. I came in a little bit awkward in the season because I was doing an internship in Washington, D.C. When auditions were rolling around. But so I was sending in videos to the staff, making sure I was working on all the exercise packet, making sure I was, keeping my hands in check and also physically, running and keeping in shape for the season. Um, and so when I got back to Bakersfield and the West Coast, I was, very graciously accepted with open arms, and everybody in the drumline just had a really good vibe, and it was a good mix. We had a lot of inside jokes and all that good stuff, and I think our relationships definitely grew to really good strength this year, and I think it definitely reflected in the way we played, the way our lot vibe was, and just the way we handled things on and off the floor. What would you say to anyone that is nervous about trying out? I would say just go for it and don't be afraid to get cut. I think that's the biggest thing. I remember back in my day, maybe some of you drummers remember that, there was this guy named Banish Beyond that just made a bunch of videos and played a bunch of licks and basically had a parentheses like cut at the end of every one of his videos, and it's just a funny thing, and we all joke about that. But the reality is that people get cut in this activity, and unfortunately there's only so many spots. But that shouldn't hinder you or prevent you from auditioning anywhere, because just the audition itself is so much of a learning experience. It's great to learn from other staff members, learn from other people, different techniques, and you only expand your knowledge by going to these auditions. The very worst thing that can happen is you get a no, right? You get cut, and if you're not aged out, then you can get the advice from staff and find out how you can improve for the next audition next year around, and that's always great to do. And if you're an age out, and I'll use myself as an example. So I marched in the 2013 Vanguard Cadets, and then I kind of took a hiatus from drum corps because I was working a lot over the summers. But I really wanted to march my age out with the Phantom Regiment, and that was kind of my dream corps. That was the group, the 2010 and 2011 drum lines of Phantom that really inspired me to go march drum corps, and get more involved in drumming. And unfortunately, I did not make the drum line for my age out year. I think that was the 2016 season. I was like the last cut. But as sad as it made me at the time, I was really happy at the end of the day when I realized, I went after the dream that I was pursuing, and I realized basically that, I wouldn't have a question mark looming over my head for the rest of my life, knowing I would have made it, I might have made it, I might not have made it, and I would have never known unless I gave it a shot. And I really did give it a shot. I gave it my best, and it was a good experience. There was a lot of good players there. I feel like I learned a lot from the staff that I brought back to, some of the high schools I teach back home here. And so I do not regret that experience at all. Even though I got cut in the end, it was still a great experience, and it's just more information that you can use and to benefit yourself for the future wherever you go, whether that's teaching or marching yourself. So don't be nervous and just go for it. That's my biggest piece of advice. What does prove our purpose mean to you? So prove our purpose to me means, basically setting an example and kind of, you know, proving your purpose, not necessarily to everybody else, but kind of proving your purpose to yourself. What is your goal? What is your pursuit when you put on a drum, when you strap up a harness, when you pick up a pair of sticks and you stand behind a drum? What is your goal? Are you there just to hack around and peck and try to hit the high mom shots as much as you can? Or is there a purpose behind every note that you play? Is there a purpose behind every set that you march? And as cliche as it sounds, sometime when staff tells you, perform every rep like it's your last, that's really a way of sort of proving your purpose and in what you do and mastering your craft, whether that's hitting a drum or painting a picture, doing your homework, etc. Right? I feel like this activity has definitely shaped my life entirely, and motivated me to learn how to work with others, learn how to manage my time, learn how to give it 110% on and off the floor. So prove our purpose means proving your purpose not only to yourself, to those around you, but proving your purpose to inspire the next generation to pick up a pair of sticks and uh, keep drumming. So that's about it. So thank you guys.